I know you probably heard that Bijou Philips filed for divorce from Danny Masterson, and when I first heard about his sentencing and found out he was married, I said I really felt for her because, of course, who would want to be that wife married to that monster? That's, of course, until I saw this video, and I'm now convinced that Bijou Philips had to have known about Danny Masterson's history, in my opinion. If you haven't already seen the video, I tagged it in my captions, but I'll give you a quick summary. Back in 2005, her and her friend were at Club Hyde in LA, and they were invited to an after party, which ended up being at Danny Masterson's home. At that time, Danny and Bijou Philips were together for about a year, and when she got to the home, there were a few guys there, her and her friend, one other woman, Danny, and Bijou. She said all nights the drinks were flowing. At some point, her and her friend sit at the poker table with everybody else, and her friend was out of it. Her friend started slurring her words, rocking back and forth, and then excused herself to the bathroom. Bijou is sitting across from her and giving her a dirty look the entire time. She said at some point, Danny Masterson walks away from the poker table, and because Bijou kept giving her dirty looks, she said, "Let me go get my friend," gets up and goes to the bathroom. That's where she found her friend leaning against the wall, and Danny's arm is above her, just talking to her in kind of an aggressive way. At the time, she thought maybe Danny didn't like the fact that there was this drunk girl in his home, so she grabs her friend, and her friend just puts all her body weight onto her. They go to sit back down at the poker table, and she said that is when Bijou just lost her mind, screaming off the top of her lungs, "Get out of my house, get out of my house," cursing at them. Danny is sitting at the poker table, shuffling cards, doesn't even look up. Eventually makes her way out, and they're trying to call a taxi because Ubers didn't exist, and it took the taxi 2.5 hours to come and get them. As she was waiting, 20 minutes after they walked out of the home, she said Bijou and Danny go outside, and Bijou is yelling at Danny. She alleges that she heard Bijou saying, "I know what you're doing. Do you think I'm stupid? I know what you're doing." Now remember, this is before they got engaged, before they got married, before they had a kid together. And she said the next morning her friend was like, "That was so wild. Like, what happened?" Obviously, at this point, I think we can put 2 and 2 together. It just makes you really wonder about the entire Church of Scientology, because if she knew, if people at the church knew, did they force this union? And now that he's finally locked up, is she like, "Thank you, God, I get to get out of this marriage"? I don't know, but it's all really strange.